online and 103.2 FM. This is Insanity Radio.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a fabulous Thursday afternoon. You are listening to the Waqattack Show, and we have got a smashing show for you lined up today, where we're going to be looking at some of the really intriguing news stories that have occurred over the past week, and we're also going to have a post-U.S. election conversation with a Republican who voted for the Don and a Democrat who voted for Clinton, and we're going to have Tony regulating the debate, seeing whose side he's on and whether it was a good idea to vote for Trump to be the president of the United States. Now, without further ado, we're going to be looking at the news stories, and the first one is quite flatulent, to say the least. A hospital patient has been seriously burned after farting during a cervix surgery, causing the laser to burst into absolute flames. A young woman was undergoing surgery at the Tokyo Medical University when she farted and sparked a fire. She has been left quite burnt after she farted during the surgery, and the unnamed mysteriously gassy woman in her 30s was undergoing surgery at the university hospital, which involved a laser being applied to her cervix. But as the operation was being carried out, she passed a little bit of wind, sparking/igniting a fire because it caught on the drapes that were surrounding her. Now, the committee released a report on Saturday saying that no flammable materials were in the operation room during the surgery and that the equipment was functioning properly. But what they failed to actually mention was if the woman was lying during the actual procedure, because it may have led to acute liar pants on fire syndrome, which is a serious issue down there in Japan. And then the Tokyo Medical University claims to be the only facility in Japan to carry out surgery using robots, just showing you folks that robots can't replace humans in everything, especially when it comes to gas leaks. The next one, in not-so-breaking news, squirrel has injured several people in an angry rampage at Florida Senior Center. Now, a squirrel went absolutely wild in a Florida Senior Center last Thursday afternoon, injuring 3 people and prompting a very unusual 911 call. Now, it's not clear how the squirrel got into the retirement center. An educated guess would be he's trying to find some nuts, but I assume the nuts in the care home are quite close to the expiry date, so if you know what I mean. The squirrel, who I'm going to refer to as Jason Voorhees, began its attack outside. It latched into one person, then it was thrown into the facility where it continued its absolute carnage. You could say the squirrel was completely nuts. Now, in the 911 call, several voices could actually be heard in the background. One person says, "I feel lightheaded, I do not feel good." And someone else said, they got people still in there. Now, this sounds more like an extract out of Friday the 13th than an actual squirrel attack. Now, another person, after a small duration in the call, said that the squirrel had been efficiently tossed out. The silver lining to this great tragedy is that all 3 squirrel attack victims were now released from the hospital and are doing absolutely fine. Now, it's not known what has happened to the squirrel, but if 80s horror movies are anything to go by, is that the evil protagonist always comes up for several horribly written sequels. So I hope that the care centers around the U.S., especially Florida, keep an eye out for these furry little fiends, because they are cute but deadly. And the final news story is the most Australian/weirdest thing you could ever hear, because a woman came home to find a pole dancing koala. A woman by the name of Nikki Erickson reported that a gray and fuzzy intruder had walked in through her door and managed to climb up in the pole inside her home in southeast Queensland in Australia. Now, she posted the video of a koala trying to climb the pole, but the settings on the video made it visible only to her Facebook friend, because Nikki does not like to share her happy moments with the rest of the world and says she likes to keep it to herself. But what's amazing is that an actual pole performer by the name of Michelle Shimmy, she actually asked the woman to make the video public so she could share it on Facebook. Now, she, being a professional dancer as she is, said it was one of the most incredible and beautiful pole performances she has ever witnessed. Now, Erickson realized that the koala koala did not actually belong in her home, so she did what every responsible human being would do, which is to call the Queensland Daly Hill Conservation Park, who got the animal and released it back into the wild. And the koala turned out to be a female whose name was Larissa. Now, that is a great stage name, I might add, and I can see this like a strip club called Kinky Koalas with the headliner Larissa, who has got moves more sensual than a eucalyptus bubble bath. But while this story does have a happy ending, one thing to note is that an increasing number of koalas have been showing up in Australian homes, and this has led to a conservation problem as a result. So, moral of the story is, hide your poles, lock your doors, because there's an uprising of very, very talented koala strippers that can give their human counterparts a run for their money. And it also goes to show you that Donald Trump wasn't the only one smashing it on the polls this week. Now, speaking about Trump, our next segment after this great song that you're going to listen to is going to be looking at the election results, and we're going to be speaking to two very different human beings with different outputs. One Republican, one Democrat. That's going to be a fiery debate coming up next. But first, we're going to be listening to a French song, a quite nice French song by the name of Bella by the band Maitre Grace. Now, this is Bella by Maitre Grace.
This is Insanity Radio, 103.2 FM.
Aha! Take on me. You're listening to the Waqattack Show. Now it's time for our election conversation, where I have to add a disclaimer that none of these views are expressed by Insanity Radio, but by the speakers themselves. Now, first up, we have a Trump supporter. Now, sir, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Howdy, my name is Trace. I'm 47 years old from Greensboro, North Carolina. I like hunting, fishing, and the NRA.
Okay, nice to meet you, Trace. How are you feeling today?
Man, I gotta be saying, I have been feeling absolutely fantastic. I haven't been feeling this good since Reagan got elected. Now, that was a long time ago. I'm feeling absolutely fantastic.
So what led you to actually vote for Donald Trump?
Well, you know, I really don't like Hillary Clinton. She just ain't resonating with me, if you know what I'm saying. Now, I think personally she is super crooked. Now, by crooked I mean all them emails of hers that got leaked. Now, that's not right. She should be in jail. Now, I got my pics leaked and I went straight to county jail. Now, I don't understand why she does not go to jail.
Well, this is it's a deep conversation because these leaks haven't really proved much. It's just it has been a hassle for her to recover from this immense leak of emails, thanks to WikiLeaks, of course. But, okay, so you think the emails were a massive reason why you didn't vote for her. So, what pulled you towards Trump?
Man, I gotta say, me and Trump, we share ideologies. I believe in most of the things he believes, and he believes in most of the things I believe. Now, I believe in the NRA. I love the NRA. They're the best possible thing in the world. Now, I want to have my freedoms with myself. I want to have my guns. I want to use my guns when I want to use my guns. Hillary wants to take away my guns.
Okay, let me stop you there. Hillary does not want to take away your guns. She just wants to put in stricter policies so that it is much more difficult for some people to obtain these guns rather than other people, because there has been a lot of things going on wrong. We're talking mass shootings happening in America all the time, so it's trying to actually reduce the rates of those that are happening.
Now, I agree with that there shouldn't be any mass shootings. Horrible things shouldn't happen. But I take that as a fence. Like, that is a fence against my freedom. People should have the right to wear guns. We could revolt. That's why we have guns, so that we can pick up a revolution if the government tries to, do something to us.
Okay, so if the government actually tried to do against you, do you really think your AK-47s will be able to sustain the Army's thing? Because they've got bazookas, missiles, and, they got lots of stuff.
Well, what they don't tell you is that down in the bayou, we learn more than what the Army learned. I think we were well prepared, so I don't wish to comment on that any further.
Okay, so don't you think that some of Donald Trump's policies are a bit too extreme in terms of, like, for example, the wall. Like, are you for the wall? Do you think it's a necessary thing? Do you think that it will work in terms of fleeing, illegal immigrants coming into the country?
Now, I have to say something. Whenever I go to Walmart or Target, I hate that you've got the thing in English and the thing in Spanish. Now, if you come to this great country, you gotta habla inglés, my amigo. I do not agree that everything should be half Spanish, half USA. If you want Spanish, you can stay in Mexico. Now, what I'm saying is, this is the USA. We gotta stand up for our culture. We gotta stop them taking our jobs. Okay, though Mexicans haven't been taking most of the jobs that you do, for example. They were taking low-key jobs, and even if they're taking jobs, they're trying to add to the economy instead of screwing it up. America was found on the basis of immigration, might I add. Now, my daddy wasn't an immigrant. He was born right here on this soil. He's a pure American. He fought in the American Civil War. He fought in the American World War. He fought... Wait. He fought in the World War. Well, you know what I'm saying. The Civil War was kind of like a World War. It was a big deal for us. All right, so you like Trump because you despise Hillary and you basically think that building walls will stop Walmart from selling stuff in Spanish, even though it's quite a well-known language. Now, not only that, but she's just, it's the fact that Mr. Trump is going to make us so rich. Now, I live on a farm. I got a family to feed. I have a business to run because the farm done cut it for me. So my business has been absolutely screwed over by Obama because he just keeps putting taxes on me. Now, I don't think that's right. So what I'm thinking is that Trump, as a businessman, knows what is right for me and what is right for businesses all across America. And I think that he will help us to a brighter future. But let me add to that. Do you not know that Donald Trump has been bankrupt over 3 times of his past career? And don't you think that's a bit scary in terms of, like, your possible economic predictions or the thing that is actually going to prevent you? But, see, that's the thing, that he may have gotten bankrupt, but see, what he fell down, but he came back up. Look how rich he is. He's making tons of money. He's the president now. That's great, isn't it? Okay, so that was the views of Trace, and so we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna go back to the Democratic nominee after this song, which is Istanbul. There might be jazz. Keep tuned. It's Insanity Radio 103.2.
Insanity Radio 103.2 FM.
Blake Shelton, Gunna, you're listening to The Waqattack Show. Hope y'all having a fabulous day. Now, we just listened to Trace, 47 years old, from North Carolina, who was telling about why he wanted to vote for Trump. Now, we're going to get a little bit of views from Abu Ayyub, who's a friend of ours, has been on the show once, talking about his adventures. Now, he was a Clinton supporter who had a chance to vote as well, so we're going to ask his views on why he voted for who he voted. So, Abu Ayyub, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Abu Ayyub. I am 39 from Palm Springs, California, originally from Doha, Qatar.
Okay, so Abu Ayyub, what made you vote for Miss Clinton?
Man, I do not have a choice. I've wanted to vote for Bernie, but Hillary was the best we could get. So I ended up voting for Hillary. Now, I believe that voting for Hillary is a good choice because she would not kick me out, personally. That is the main reason. I'm an immigrant. I came to this country for the freedoms and to put into the economy.
So you came in from Doha originally, yes?
Yes, I came from Doha. I used to be a construction worker in one of the stadiums. Now I got a kind of like a little pass to come to America so I can work here because the living conditions, I mean, oh my god, I had to build stadiums. That was one of the most painful things I have to do in my entire life. So I come over here living a more chill life. You know what I do?
Now, I'd love to know what you do.
I am actually a surfboard seller at Palm Beach County. I sell surfboards to the dudes and the dudettes, allowing them to surf on the surfboard, which is, I like spreading joy to the people, which cannot be said about the candidates.
Okay, so what about Hillary, did you not like personally that? Why did you prefer her to Bernie Sanders? Would you not prefer her to Bernie Sanders, for example?
Well, it's basically she's not being very truthful to be on very honest. But I think like a Democrat. I live like a Democrat. I believe freedom of speech. I believe freedom of everything. Hillary speaks to me. She resonates with me. She's not going to send me to Guantanamo Bay like Sir Donald Trump, for example. No. Donald Trump is not going to send you to Guantanamo Bay. He's actually. Just yesterday, Independent wrote that he's actually retracted the claim that he's gonna kick all the Muslims out. That he's not gonna allow them to enter the USA. So that's kind of like good news. I mean, that's pretty good news. I mean, I like my job. I like to sell surfboards. So if I can carry on my job for a long amount of time, helping the American people, I would love that. But just for right now, because I did not know it beforehand. That's why I voted for Hillary. So. What else? Like, do you actually like Mr. Donald Trump? I mean, he is like a businessman. He's a nice man. I agree with some of his views. I agree that this country needs to go into a brighter, more economically strong position. But I also have a very strong views on the climate change, if you know what I mean. Yes, climate change is actually a really big problem going on in this world. Like, Leonardo DiCaprio released a documentary, which you can watch for free on YouTube, called Before the Flood, in which he was talking how far it's gone in terms of climate change and how us burning fossil fuels has got to the tipping point, and that whatever we do, we're still going to be having that sea level rise, and an island by the name of Kiribati can actually be overthrown by the amount of by the sea level rise. They will no longer be able to cope with it, so they're going to have to move. So definitely, climate change was a key topic in this year's election. Definitely. So because I like to surf, right? I live on the sea. Now, I used to live in Miami. I loved Miami. Miami life was amazing. I used to watch 80s movies, Miami Vice. Miami is the gem. It is one of the most beautiful white beaches I've ever seen in my life. And I'm from Qatar. We have some pretty decent beaches. But the thing is that every single year, Miami kept flooding. Now, Miami kept flooding. That means it is not good for business. It's not good for anything else. And so this is why I had to move to Palm Springs, where everything is dry, because California is drying up like a desert. I mean, Jesus Christ, what am I living in the Saudi Arabia, or am I living in California? You cannot tell the difference. We're supposed to be having Mediterranean climate, which is exactly why I think that it is an important thing to tackle climate change, which is not something that Trump would actually very support, but Hillary was all for it. Now, but one thing we have to say is that Hillary Clinton, she was for the pipeline that was going to go through Alaska and that was going to possibly affect the Native American community. So she's not the most green candidate in terms of that. So why didn't you vote for Jill Stein, who's from the Green Party, who was all for chances to tackle climate change and to actually put forward policies that would reduce fossil fuel industries from corrupting other people and stop the release of fossil fuels? Man, it is a waste of vote to vote for Jill Stein. I like Jill Stein, but it is an absolute waste of my vote. Like you see, half of the population I found who did not even vote for, did not even come out to vote. That is a big population that did not come out to vote. If they came out to vote, things would have been a little bit different. But you know what can I say? Things are what they are. It is a democracy. We have to live for. We have to heal ourselves, and we have to move forward in a positive direction. Now, this America country has taught me a lot of good values about freedom of speech, and about democracy. Now, important thing about democracy is that you have to plow through all the badness, and you will find the goodness. Plow through the badness and find the goodness. That was Dr. Abu Ayyub, who was a Clinton voter. Now, hope you enjoyed this very fine debate between these two gentlemen, giving a balanced view on who they thought would have been the best or most suitable candidate. Now we're going to be playing a Spanish song, not from Mexico, but from Colombia, a famous singer by the name of Shakira. This is La Tortura on Insanity Radio 103.2 FM. You're listening to The Waqattack Show.
This is Insanity Radio 103.2 FM.
Chic, Everybody Dance. Now that brings us to our final segment, which we haven't done in a while, called Feel Good Tips. Now that song was called Everybody Dance, and dancing is exactly what you gotta do to get you in the mood of feeling good. Now this has been proven by the most sciencey of the scientists of the most scientists of them all, that if you listen to your favorite music, whether it be 80s, countries, rock, roll, punk, whatever gets you going, whatever uplifts you, you put in those beats by Dr. Dre or those bows by Bose, and you start jamming to your favorite tunes. Not only are you being flooded with the music that you love, but then you gotta flood that love, and then you gotta release it in the form of dance moves. You could whip, you could nae, you could Gangnam Style, you could do whatever you want, but you gotta release the music that comes into you out to the world, so that not only are you happy because you're dancing, jamming to your favorite songs, but you're making other people around you have a good time because they're looking at you dancing. They're either laughing or they're joining in with you. So that is one of the feel-good tips of the day, which is dance and pump to your favorite music. That's why we try to put in some uplifting songs to get you going. Another tip is cook a tasty meal. Now, this could be anything, whether you like your curries or you like your Italian food. But one thing about curry is that you gotta hold up on the spice because they can act as a vile laxative, and that has not been that was not good for your body in some terms, especially if you're out and about, because you do not want that curry from being released from your body. And I know from prior experience, and especially Pierre, if you tuned in a few weeks ago, he didn't have the best experience with curry himself. So anything that makes you feel good, because food has the ability to wake you up. It has the ability to awaken your senses of taste, of smell, and it also fills you up, which, if I gotta be honest, if I don't get my food, I am cranky as hell. So what you gotta do, you gotta dance and you gotta eat. So this has been our show for today, where we talked about everything from stripper koalas to a woman farting and catching the entire room on fire, to a Trump supporter telling why he voted for Trump and why a Hillary Clinton supporter voted for Hillary Clinton. Now, whatever your views are, feel free to let us know on tweet us at InsanityRadio.com, or just email us at InsanityRadio.com as well. And this has been the Waqattack Show, which airs every Thursday, 12 to 1, trying to uplift your afternoon with some light comedy and some nice music to keep you pumping. Now, this next song that we're gonna end with is not necessarily a club banger, to say the least, but it is an extremely popular song. In many movies, it has been cameoed. For example, Bruce Almighty is one that comes to mind. It's by the famous singer George Michael. This is Faith. So everybody out there, have a great Thursday and the rest of the week, and keep your faith going. This is Chaudhry Waqas from the Waqattack Show signing off. Have a great day, y'all.
This is Insanity Radio, 103.2 FM.